Hi, Rick Mayberry. Today is November 30th, and I thought I would give you guys an update on what I think is probably my final version of market change analysis and comparable sales selection support. Here you can see I have a summary dashboard. All the information here is dynamic. It's all coming from these other tabs throughout the workbook. And I do use this in my appraisal report, and I will show you that in a little while. But here we can see we have 8 for sale properties, 10 pending properties. The solds over the last 30 to 60, 60 to 90, and 90 to 120 days. The low, median, and highs. We can also see, and highlighted in red for a in danger sort of metaphor, a significant increase in the average days on market as well as the median days on market for sale properties as considered against pending and solds. This is a little heat map showing where the data points are coming from. A small summary of my subject. This is also a hyperlink. Note it's going out to realtor.com. So if somebody wanted to see some more information quickly, they could. And financing considerations, well, financing considerations are showing a loss in purchasing power year over year of 200 and just call it $300 a month, or almost 31%. Last year, and it's very easy to look up, last year uh, the 30-year fixed rate was 3.3%. The current rate as of today, and I use bankrate.com to get these rates, 6.5, a little over 6.5. So we can see that the total monthly payment for the same mortgage, same terms, $951.06 versus a year ago would have only been $656.93. And I do believe that there is a correlation to market change based on purchasing power. Um, this tab is how I get my heat map data. And if you've never seen a heat map, there's some interesting things you can do. Um, we can open the heat map dialog, and we can actually play a tour by time as to when these sales occurred. Um, it's also painting a picture for me too that in the Hickory post office location delineator, the majority of the sales are actually within the city limits of Hickory, but this is where my subject property is. And this is telling me, this is probably an ex-urban area, not rural, not quite rural, certainly not suburban, but you can draw a lot of inferences here about your market. It has a scale. We can adjust the scale. Um, if we adjust the scale by price range, some of these data points will drop out. Um, Very powerful tool. This is my summary of market change. And I like to look at it year and a half, 1 year, 9, 6, and 3 months. Um, it's really painting a picture that the market is declining, has been declining, and is continuing to decline. The 3 month price change index, I will disclose and disclaim in my report that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 data points. Um, this is just carrying through from my 6 month, but there really aren't enough data points here to draw any credible results from, but it is still part of the picture. I also like to look at exposure time and marketing times, and we can see that it's an interesting correlation that total days on market are continuing to decline versus exposure time, which is increasing slightly. So, some additional investigations into marketing times and exposure times is warranted, and you can detail that inside of your report. Comparable selection analysis, I think, is something that's not used often enough. With the current market environment where appraisers are being singled out for gender identity bias, racial bias, and sometimes even data bias, this can really be beneficial. What this information is showing me is that there is a clear preference in the market for site size based on distribution. This is a sum of 10, 32, 17, 3, and 2 are the total number of properties in my data set. And then looking at it in a quartile or box and whisker plot, the sweet spot seems to be most properties are between 11,000 to 25,000 square feet. This line, 19,602, as you can see as I hover over it, that's my site size of my subject. Same thing down here with gross living area. It seems that in this market segment that I've determined by the data set, things are ranging between 900 to 1,150 square feet, and note this is my subject. Again, there's a pretty clear preference based on these two towers about market preference, market demand. These are additional amenities that for this assignment I felt were important. There's definitely a preference for central air. Most homes do not have a half bath. 94% in fact do not. Full baths, same thing. There's definitely a clear preference for one full bath versus 2 full baths. And fireplaces are kind of divided down the middle. And while my subject does not have private sewer or water, oftentimes I'll include this, especially in exurban to rural areas, to show my intended user that it's very common and typical for not to have public water and sewer. All of my data in this data set are 2 bedrooms, so I've taken this out and just moved him over because I'm not going to include it. And the way that I put things into addendums is I can either use the Snagit tool, or if I hold down the Windows key, the Shift key, and S, that's the Windows snipping tool. Come over here, and now that's been copied to my Windows clipboard. These are my tabs that develop the data that I graph. And to make a long story short, what I do is this is the source or my MLS data download that I used. And what I'm going to do is now show you how easy it is to update this. So I'm going to select all these properties. I'm going to come to export. I'm going to go to dashboard export. And this is something that's important. You need to know how within your specific MLS or MLS systems that you use, especially for those people that have overlapping MLS coverage areas in your service provider area. You need to know how to create an export with the data that we need. So I'm going to come here to dashboard export, drop it into folder. This is WaterFox, and as soon as this is done downloading, I will open it. Here it is. All I need to do is insert a table so that more calculations and formulas can be applied. I'm going to rename this table to data source, and I'm simply going to copy this. I'm just going to come right in here. I'm going to select the sheet and I'm going to hit Control V. And here we go. Notice how the data changed. So, come back here to our dashboard. I'm going to hit data, refresh. Oh, missed a step. My apologies. Going to go into table design and make sure that this is data source. I will hit save. I'll come back to my dashboard. I will simply go to data, refresh all. And lo and behold, we now see that all this information is changed. 6 instead of 8, 21 days average on market, significantly lower median days on market. We see that some of these charts have changed. This is a manual process, so let's say the mortgage amount is $186,250. 186,250, and that will subsequently alter. We can now come into our heat map. You do have to refresh this, and it's very simple. It's simply refresh data. Ooh, where did my data go? Well, it moved because we're in a new location, and it's up here. We can come back into our filter. We can clear the filter. You can see it's figured out that the low and the high, and has updated the legend here. We simply capture the screen. We can close this now because we're done with it. We can paste right over that, resize it. Voila. We can also see that our market change charts have all been updated. Our exposure times, our comparable selection analysis, it's all changed. Now, if we're looking here at 19,602 and 1027, that's being grabbed over here in the subject property information. I'll change this to Lenore, North Carolina, and we'll say it's 1862 square feet with a 31,260 square foot lot, 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, no half bath, blah, 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 blah. Note that this has changed, and if we come back to our comparable selections, we'll see that these have moved, so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it. I will be happy to share this version with anyone. I can offer to assist you with customizing this and making it your own. My rate for that is $75 an hour, depending on how much time we're going to need. I can even do it as a flat fee. I will even be happy to talk to you for a half hour, 40 minutes or so on the phone, or Zoom call, MS Teams call, sort of walk you through some of the things that have to be done. And I'm pretty flexible. I want to help, but also my time is valuable, just like your time is. So thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later.